I'm going to go through this property with you right now and show you exactly why setbacks can either make or break a deal. We have this property for sale in Baker City, Oregon. It is listed for $98,000 and it's industrial. It looks like that it's just a scrapyard, lumber yard. If we look down, so it's a quarter of an acre. So not a bad size for a small industrial building. If you were going to buy this and use it as your own lumber yard, then that'd be perfectly fine. But if you were going to buy it to develop into an industrial building, whether it's some manufacturing, warehousing, some other industrial use, it is so important to know exactly what your city's regulations are in regards to development standards, setbacks, parking requirements. Because as we'll see, this quarter of an acre, at most, what you're going to be able to get out is a 2,000 square foot building, which is the same as about 2 or 3 of these shipping containers. If we open up one of these attachments, we can see more information about the property. So they have a lot of equipment for sale, a lot of merchandise and inventory that they're going to sell as well. So there's utilities, water, sewer, electric. There's a carport, metal shipping container. It's fenced. Let's take a look at Google Maps and we can see the area, we can see where it's at. We might be able to get a street view. The property is this corner lot here on D Street and 12th. So down the road here, down here. And unfortunately, Google Street does not go down there, but you can get a sense of what this area is. Going on the city assessor's site, we can find the tax map. This is our property that we're interested in. It's 75 feet by 140 feet. There's a little aisle here, 16 and a half feet aisle. And so it's this corner lot here. Taking a quick look over at the zone, because that's what's going to be so important. So this is the zoning map of Baker City. And you can find any zoning map by just Googling your city name plus zoning map. And most of them will have it on their site. If they don't, it might be, or if it's in the county, then the county should have it available for you. This here, if we go up D Street and 12th, this one right here is it. This is it here. So this is the spot that we're looking for. We have our little alleyway, D Street and 13th. Now take a look. This blue is general industrial. The yellow is residential. Keep that in mind, because jumping over to the development documents, if we scroll down, we know what we're able to build based off of what is allowed in industrial zones. This table just gives a breakdown of what you can build and what you can't build in industrial zones. We're just looking for some manufacturing which is allowed. Now here are setbacks, and if you don't know what setbacks are, that's how far away from a property line you have to be until you are allowed to build something. That would be anything permanent, like a parking lot or a building. Setbacks are normally broken out as a front or street, or rear, side, and then alley. Now, see how our property is neighboring residential on 2 sides? Going back to the required setbacks, if our front street, rear street, or side street is facing a residential, our setback jumps up to 25 feet. So on the side, if we were adjacent to a commercial zone, then we would have a 0-foot setback. We could be right on the property line. If it's adjacent to a residential zone, we have to be 25 feet. 25 feet from the side. So doing a quick map of what that looks like, if we go down to land price calculator for site plan generation, I'm going to upload a picture of the property, an overhead view. Here's our property. We're going to set the boundaries. Corner, 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 corner. This side was 75 feet and the top was about 140. It's about a quarter of an acre. Taking a look at our setbacks. So we have an entrance here up on D Street. This is where we're going to be entering our parking lot. Our front setback, when it's adjacent to a commercial or industrial building, it's 20 feet. But since we're adjacent to a residential zone, it's 25 feet. So that is, edge 2 is 25 feet. Yes, that is right. We have lost a third of our property to the front setback, where we are not allowed to build. We are not allowed to build in any of this blue area. Side when adjacent to commercial, it's 0 feet. When it's adjacent to a residential zone, 25 feet. So edge 1 is adjacent to a residential zone. So this is another 25 feet. We lost another huge section of our property. The rear edge, when it's adjacent to a commercial zone, it's 10 feet. So in this case, we only have a 10-foot setback because the neighbor on the back end is going to be commercial or industrial. So that's 10 feet. And then on this edge over here, we're going to have a 0-foot setback because it's on this side. This leaves our building envelope with hardly anything. We're going to need off-street parking. So taking a look at Baker City's parking and loading requirements, they'll have a table, something down here, commercial categories, industrial categories. It's about 1 space per 1,000 square feet. Or if you're doing warehousing, it's half a space per 1,000 square feet. So just keep that in mind right now. Let's say placing a parking lot here. So this is going to be the parking lot. This is 4 spots, 3 spots. You are required to have 1 ADA parking. So right here is 3 parking spots, and then we add a building. That's 900 square feet. Let's add it. Let's make it as big as possible. There we go. So this right here is the best use. So because of the city's stringent setback requirements, this is the best you'll be able to do on this piece of property is 2,600 square feet. Really bad. That's terrible for an industrial building of an investment opportunity. This is going to be really hard to make pencil. If we go to industrial calculator. So if this is a 2,400 square foot building in a tertiary market like Baker City, we are going to be looking at about $12 a square foot for industrial rents. Interest rate, if I were to be buying this property, we'd be looking at a 6% interest rate. Going to be down payment, I'd be putting 30% down. Expense percentages, I'd have it be triple net, so 5%. This expense percentage is saying how much of my income is going towards some expenses. And in this case, about 5% just for miscellaneous items. As an investor, I'd want 10% down. And so that means the value of our property is going to be $315,000. You will not be able to build this property for $315,000. The land, they're asking for $980,000. That's a third of your budget gone. Because of the stringent requirements that the city is placing on this property, you would not be able to build an industrial building here and make it work. You would not be able to build something that would return any sort of capital or be a good investment in any way. The only hope for this is if you were to own a lumber business and continue maintaining the lumber business as is. But as a development opportunity, this would definitely be a no-go. You would not be able to buy the land for $98,000 and make this a viable product. But let's see if $98,000 is, fair. Let's see what they paid for it real quick. They have, so they bought it in 2017 for $17,000 and its market value is $16,000. Yeah, I get it. I get that we're getting some equipment and we're getting some merchandise, or we're getting some equipment and we're getting some inventory. So they're saying that the land value is $60,000 and then the rest is inventory and machinery. It doesn't seem right that the property is worth 4 times what its assessed value is. And based on what you can build off the property, and it doesn't seem like that $98,000 mark is the right number for this property. You'll have to go a lot lower for it to make sense. Because as we saw, we were only able to make a building that was 2,400 square feet. We can see that we will not be able to make this property work at that price. We may be able to if we were to cut down the purchase price drastically. That is why it is so important to understand the building and development codes before you jump into a project. It's so important that you understand what the city is requiring from you and what you can build. What the city requires from you and what you are allowed to build will make or break a deal. A lot of development projects on these smaller lots become impossible because nothing is penciling. If you are interested in more content like this, analyzing deals, seeing what you can do with it, let me know. If you are interested in this kind of content where I go and break down a listing to see exactly what we can do with that and find out what a good price is, let me know. This is a quick analysis of a property in Baker City, Oregon, to see if it would make sense to develop this into an industrial building on industrial land. It turns out that it's not, because of the stringent setback requirements that the city imposes on this piece of property. Let me know if this is something you want to see more of, and if you're interested in talking about real estate, leave a comment and I'll be in touch. Thanks.